Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch, also known as Wanda Maximoff, is a powerful Marvel Comics character and a member of the Avengers. Gifted with chaos magic and reality warping abilities, she can alter the fabric of existence itself. Originally introduced as a mutant with hex powers, Wanda's character evolved dramatically over time, revealing her as one of the most complex and emotionally driven figures in the Marvel Universe. Her most infamous act was in the storyline House of M, where, after suffering immense personal trauma, she created an entirely new world in which everyone's deepest wishes came true. She didn't ask, she just changed everything: entire lives, histories, and even species status. This culminated in her uttering the phrase, "No more mutants," which erased the powers of nearly 1,000,000 mutants, dramatically altering the Marvel Universe. Her manipulations often stem from grief, love, or loss rather than malice, making her actions morally complex. She doesn't twist people with lies or schemes, she rewrites their reality. The terrifying part is that she often believes she's helping. Her love for her children, her grief over Vision, and her quest for control in an uncontrollable world drive her to acts that deeply affect countless lives. Wanda doesn't just manipulate people, she manipulates the world they live in, and sometimes even time and memory itself. That raw power, combined with emotional instability and a desire to make things right on her own terms, makes her one of fiction's most dangerous and tragically manipulative figures. Terence Fletcher. Terence Fletcher is a fictional character from the 2014 film Whiplash, portrayed by J.K. Simmons. As a music instructor at the prestigious Schaffer Conservatory, Fletcher is infamous for his brutal teaching methods and psychological manipulation, all in pursuit of what he sees as artistic greatness. He doesn't simply demand excellence, he manufactures high-pressure situations to provoke emotional responses, using them as tools to shape behavior. He verbally assaults students, hurls objects during rehearsals, and pits musicians against each other to create cutthroat competition. One of his most manipulative acts is how he initially builds trust with protagonist Andrew Neiman. Fletcher approaches him gently, showing interest in his family and ambitions, only to later berate and torment him during rehearsals. This bait-and-switch tactic leaves Neiman off balance and desperate for approval, making him easier to control. Fletcher plays on Neiman's insecurities, pushing him into self-destruction in his obsessive quest for perfection. This includes encouraging a mindset where failure is unforgivable, leading Neiman to isolate himself from loved ones, endure physical harm, and even suffer a car accident, all while still trying to make it to rehearsal. After being fired for his abusive behavior, he invites Neiman to perform in a concert under false pretenses, intentionally setting him up to fail by giving him the wrong music. Yet, in a moment of rebellion and raw talent, Neiman takes control and delivers a transcendent performance. Fletcher, seeing this, subtly approves, suggesting that the suffering he inflicted may have finally produced the greatness he sought.
Get the f*** out of my sight before I demolish.
Eren Yeager. Eren Yeager is the central character of Attack on Titan, introduced as a passionate, revenge-driven teenager whose mother was devoured during a Titan attack. Initially, the story sees him as heroic and impulsive, but as secrets unspool about Eldia's history and Titan power, his actions become chillingly calculated and manipulative. His transformation begins after inheriting multiple Titan powers, including the Attack, Founding, and eventually the Warhammer Titan, and absorbing forbidden knowledge about the world beyond Paradis. Perhaps most striking is his manipulation of Ymir, the spirit behind the Founding Titan's power. In the story's climax, he convinces Ymir to help him by giving her the choice to make her own decision, effectively commandeering her will to unleash the Wall Titans in a genocidal attack on the rest of the world. By liberating Titan forces within Paradis and directing them to annihilate global populations, Eren positions himself as both godlike ruler and puppet master, even manipulating his closest allies. He coerces his half-brother Zeke into participation and drives a cult, known as the Yeagerists, to support his extremist agenda. Eren's greatest manipulation isn't just in his shifting identities or violent acts, but in shaping others' perceptions. He convinces Mikasa, Armin, and Ymir, and by extension entire military factions, that his genocidal campaign is the only path to freedom for Eldia, all while positioning himself as their sacrificial hero. Quan Chi. Quan Chi is a demon sorcerer and necromancer from the Netherrealm whose mastery of dark magic and ruthless intellect make him one of fiction's most manipulative villains. In Mortal Kombat, he is infamous for orchestrating conflicts and exploiting weaknesses to serve his sinister ends. He rose to power by forging a pact with the fallen elder god Shinnok, gaining immense power and becoming his right-hand sorcerer. Not content with mere magical authority, Quan Chi founded the Brotherhood of Shadow and weaves intricate schemes to destabilize realms and seize control. His insidious talents include necromancy, raising undead armies, manipulating souls and casting illusions, and realm-hopping via portals at will. Quan Chi's most notorious manipulation involves pitting Sub-Zero and Scorpion against each other. By murdering Scorpion's family and clan, then framing Sub-Zero for the atrocity, he sparked an immortal feud. He then resurrected Scorpion as an undead revenant to do his bidding, ensuring his enemies destroyed one another. Simultaneously, he twisted Sub-Zero's destiny, turning his brother Bi-Han into the Wraith Noob Saibot. Quan Chi thrives on betrayal and self-interest. He betrays allies like Shang Tsung, Shinnok, and Onaga when expedient and abandons comrades to further his ascension. His cold pragmatism, mastery of soul manipulation, and genius for deception establish him as fiction's supreme puppet master, a schemer willing to orchestrate genocide and fracture loyalties to grasp ultimate power. Lucifer Morningstar. Lucifer Morningstar is a multifaceted and deeply manipulative figure depicted across DC Comics, The Sandman, and the Lucifer TV series. Originally known as Samael, he was the most beautiful and powerful of God's archangels. Lucifer's manipulative nature stems from his staggering cosmic power, omnipotence, near-omniscience, reality warping, and a Machiavellian mind that he uses with surgical precision. In the comics, he orchestrated endless conflict among demons, reshaped realms, and upheld the principle of free will, but only on his terms. His balls-deep integrity was so sharp that he once explained, "When the devil wants you to do something, he doesn't lie at all. He tells you the exact literal truth, and he lets you find your own way to hell." His charm, absolute honesty about his identity, and ability to coax out people's deepest desires make him a master of psychological manipulation in the TV series. On television, Lucifer channels his manipulative flair as a private consultant for the LAPD, running the Club Lux while planting himself strategically in others' lives, Detective Chloe Decker being the prime example. His power, called Mojo, lets him peer into hearts and coax confessions, all without outright lies. In sum, Lucifer Morningstar is portrayed as a cosmic trickster and manipulator who, rather than using deceit, wields absolute truth and raw power like a scalpel, knowing exactly when and how to reveal himself to exploit desire, guilt, or ambition. His brilliance lies not in falsehood, but in radical transparency and the ruthless will to let free will run wild, on his terms. Makima. Makima is a central antagonist in the manga and anime Chainsaw Man by Tatsuki Fujimoto. She is a high-ranking public safety devil hunter who initially appears calm, composed, and benevolent, but is later revealed to be the control devil, an embodiment of the fear of control itself. What makes Makima one of fiction's most manipulative characters is her complete mastery over deception, psychological manipulation, and emotional coercion. Makima gains trust by presenting herself as kind and nurturing, especially to the protagonist, Denji, a naive and emotionally starved teenager. She offers him safety, food, and affection, things he has never had, only to subtly control his every action. Her manipulation extends beyond Denji. She dominates almost everyone around her through contracts, fear, or emotional entrapment. She uses people like tools, exploiting their weaknesses while keeping a mask of compassion. Her ultimate goal is to create a world free of suffering by controlling everything and everyone, including powerful devils and even death itself. In pursuit of this, she causes countless deaths and betrays her closest allies. What makes her so chilling is how she weaponizes love and desire. Denji's desperate longing for family and affection becomes the very chain she uses to enslave him. Even when her true nature is revealed, her manipulations are so thorough that her victims struggle to resist or hate her. Makima's actions aren't driven by sadism, but by a warped sense of order, making her control all the more terrifying. She doesn't break people with brute force, she makes them grateful to be broken. Amy Dunne. Amy Dunne is the central character in Gillian Flynn's psychological thriller Gone Girl. She is widely considered one of the most manipulative characters due to her ability to deceive, control, and emotionally dominate those around her, particularly her husband, Nick. On the surface, Amy appears to be the perfect wife, beautiful, intelligent, and charming. But beneath this facade lies a calculating and ruthless mind, capable of elaborate schemes designed to punish and manipulate. Her most notorious act of manipulation is faking her own disappearance and framing Nick for her murder. She meticulously plans every detail, planting evidence, faking a diary to paint herself as an abused spouse, and even leaving behind staged crime scenes. This elaborate setup leads to a media frenzy and public outrage against Nick, destroying his reputation and nearly sending him to prison. Amy's motive is revenge. She believes Nick has wronged her by cheating and failing to live up to the idealized image she created for him. What makes Amy so disturbing is not just the scope of her manipulation, but how effortlessly she adapts her persona to fit the narrative she wants others to believe. Even after returning home and revealing the truth to Nick, Amy maintains control by getting pregnant using money he had banked years earlier, trapping him in the marriage and cementing her power. Amy Dunne's manipulations aren't impulsive or emotional. They're calculated, cold, and methodically executed. She weaponizes intelligence, beauty, and societal expectations to achieve her goals, making her a chilling portrait of psychological control. Mystique. Mystique, whose real name is Raven Darkholme, is a prominent character in Marvel Comics, especially within the X-Men universe. A mutant with the power to shapeshift into anyone she chooses, Mystique is one of fiction's most manipulative characters due to her mastery of deception, espionage, and psychological manipulation. Her ability to physically become any person, down to their voice and fingerprints, makes her nearly impossible to detect, allowing her to infiltrate governments, organizations, and even her enemies' inner circles undetected. What sets Mystique apart is not just her power, but how she uses it. She often plays multiple sides at once, serving mutant causes, human authorities, or her own hidden agendas, depending on what suits her goals. She's been a terrorist, a spy, and sometimes even a reluctant hero, all while rarely showing her true loyalties. Mystique has impersonated loved ones, allies, and political figures to gain trust or provoke chaos. She manipulated her own son, Nightcrawler, and betrayed allies like Rove for strategic advantage. Her emotional detachment and willingness to exploit relationships make her unpredictably dangerous. Mystique's manipulative nature stems from her long life, personal trauma, and deep belief in mutant superiority. Her mistrust of both humans and mutants drives her to control situations before they can control her. This fearlessness in changing identities and allegiances has helped her survive countless political and physical threats. She isn't bound by morality, but by survival and power, making her one of the most cunning and morally ambiguous figures in Marvel lore. Hey everyone, thank you all for watching until the end. I'll be back with more videos, so make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for my next video, comment them down below.